NASCAR's biggest stars have a problem money can't fix. Shane Van Gisbergen is exposing something the sport doesn't really want fans thinking too hard about. And mate, it's not the car, it's not the engine, it's not some sneaky setup trick nobody's talking about. Same car, same tires, same rules, exact same rulebook everyone else signed up for too. So why does one bloke keep making champions look like amateurs on a road course, week after week, like it's nothing? Let's set the scene properly first. SVG isn't a NASCAR lifer. He didn't come up through the American short-track grind like most of this grid did, cutting his teeth on dirt and asphalt bullrings for years. He's a road racing import from supercars, an outsider walking into a house built by insiders, and then quietly rearranging the furniture without asking permission. Think about who he's actually beating here: Larson, Reddick, Bell, Elliott. Champions, multiple race winners, drivers who've spent their entire careers mastering ovals and road courses alike, studying every inch of these tracks since they were kids, and they still can't figure out how to beat one guy in identical equipment. That's not a small thing at all, right? That's downright embarrassing if you're the one wearing a championship ring and getting shown up by the new bloke. Now, before we get properly under the bonnet on how he's actually doing it, quick one for you. We're closing in on 1,500 subscribers on this channel, and if you're new here or just scrolling past, hitting that subscribe button costs you absolutely nothing, but genuinely helps us keep putting out breakdowns like this one, instead of just recycling highlight reels off someone else's footage, like half the channels out there. So go on, smash subscribe, drop a like while you're at it, and let's get straight back into it. Here's the kicker. The gap comes down to something you actually can't buy at a parts store, no matter how deep your team's pockets are. It's called trail braking. In plain terms, most drivers brake hard, then release the brake, then turn the wheel. 3 separate actions, one after the other, like ticking boxes down a checklist. SVG carries brake pressure deeper into the corner and turns the wheel at the same time, blending the two together seamlessly. That lets him rotate the car earlier, setting the exit up before other blokes have even finished turning in properly. Translation, mate. Everyone else is stopping, then turning. SVG's turning while he's still stopping. Sounds small when you say it out loud like that. On track, over a full run, stacked up lap after lap, it's the entire race. And it's not just fans picking up on this either. The drivers themselves are on record admitting it, openly, without much ego getting in the way. As Kyle Larson has said, SVG is way, way, way better on road courses. Straight up admitting the gap isn't equipment, it's technique, built over decades racing sports cars overseas long before he ever touched a stock car or set foot on American soil. AJ Allmendinger, a legit road course specialist in his own right with plenty of wins to his name, has talked about going through SVG's data trying to spot what he's doing differently and coming away genuinely stumped by it. That's the bit that should worry the establishment more than anything. When a proven specialist can't reverse engineer it off the numbers, you're not dealing with a setup trick anymore. You're dealing with a raw, learned skill gap. Fans have noticed it too, slowing down onboard footage frame by frame, comparing braking markers and throttle points like it's crime scene evidence laid out on a table. Engineers can see exactly where he's gaining the time on the datasheet, down to the 10th of a second. They just can't tell their own driver how to actually replicate it come Sunday. But here's the thing, right? There might actually be one driver out there with the background to close this gap eventually, given enough time and experience. We'll get to him in a minute, because trust me, it matters more than you'd think once you hear the connection. Here's the part most NASCAR channels won't even touch, because it's a bit uncomfortable for the sport to admit. This isn't just about one win at Watkins Glen or one trophy on a shelf somewhere. This is about how NASCAR teams train and develop drivers going forward, full stop. Because once you understand trail braking, the next piece of the puzzle is throttle application on exit. SVG straightens the car out early and gets back to full power before everyone else can even commit to the throttle properly, still fighting the wheel. That's acceleration time nobody else on the grid is getting for free, lap after lap, corner after corner. Translation, he's already driving away down the straight while the rest of the field is still finishing the corner behind him, wondering where he went. Remember what I said earlier about one driver who might actually close this gap someday? That's Connor Zilisch. He's the one young talent in the pipeline with a sports car background similar to SVG's, coming up through road racing rather than the traditional oval-heavy American ladder most drivers grind through for years. If anyone on this grid has got a genuine shot at bridging that gap for the next generation, fair dinkum, it's him, and teams are already watching closely. So where does all this actually go from here? A few theories worth chewing on before we wrap things up. Theory 1. NASCAR organizations start investing heavily in international road racing experience for their young drivers, basically trying to manufacture the next SVG in-house before someone else does it first. Theory 2. The veteran Cup stars simply can't rewire 20 years of oval-built instinct at this stage of their careers, meaning this particular gap might just be permanent for this entire generation of drivers, no matter how hard they study the data afterward. Theory 3. SVG's dominance quietly forces a shift in how organizations scout and develop talent altogether, with road racing pedigree becoming a genuine priority instead of an afterthought box to tick on a resume. No, not even close, and don't expect them to anytime soon. Nobody's put out a press release saying, "We're rebuilding our entire scouting philosophy because of one Kiwi bloke." But the pattern speaks for itself, and honestly, you don't need a memo from head office to see exactly where this is heading. And look, if you want a quick example of what all this actually looks like in real terms, picture two drivers hitting the same corner at Watkins Glen, side by side in your mind for a second. One brakes early, coasts through the middle, then squeezes the throttle back on gradually, playing it safe the whole way through. The other one, SVG, is still on the brake pedal while he's already turning the wheel, rotating the car through the middle of the corner instead of after it, and he's back to full throttle a heartbeat sooner than the bloke next to him. Multiply that tiny window by every single corner on the track, and by the end of the lap you've got a gap that looks impossible on paper, but makes perfect sense once you actually understand the technique sitting behind it. Right, here's where you come in, mate. Type skill in the comments below if you reckon this is pure driving talent that flat out can't be taught, no matter how much data or coaching you throw at it. Type setup if you still reckon there's something going on in the car nobody's owning up to publicly. And honestly, don't just drop one word and vanish on us. Tell us which corner, which track, where exactly you think SVG's actually making the difference out there, because the comment section on this particular video is genuinely going to be worth scrolling through. If this breakdown opened your eyes even a little bit today, do us a solid, mate. Like the video, drop a proper comment with your own take on the trail braking angle, and share it with a mate who still reckons this whole thing is purely about horsepower and nothing else. That's genuinely how a channel like this grows week to week, and we're grinding toward that 1,500 subscriber mark together right now, so every single share honestly counts more than you'd think it does. Next time, we're breaking down the one team quietly trying to build their own version of SVG from scratch using their junior development program, and it might change everything about how this sport picks its future stars. Until then, this has been NASCAR Racing Central. Stay fast, stay sharp, keep an eye on that braking zone next time you're watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.